need to just like it's a struggle. It's a challenge. I feel sorry for whoever's doing that job. It's tough.
Miracles have been worked. But no, guys, the desk is taking a break. We are instead going directly into map number 3. Less overtalk, more play. And the next map here, Bren, will be Hanamura.
It will indeed. So this is the opportunity now for Singularity to really just try and nail out the maps at this point. Hanamura, it's an opportunity for them. The series isn't quite won yet to Gigantti, but from what we've seen in the past to Gigantti, this is going to be super tough for them because Hanamura is a map that they are comfortable on. I think they probably would have preferred to go to Volskaya, but at the end of the day, they're not picky. They're already 2 maps ahead. Hanamura is something that they can play effectively well.
And one thing, again, just to re-mention the stakes here for these two teams, is that for Singularity, this is a matchup that they really do need the win. No. It's not impossible that they could make the playoffs if they lose this, but it's a much tougher road.
Yeah.
Whereas for Gigantti, this is sort of just the cherry on top. If they win this, not only are they assured to go to playoffs, but they're very likely to get a high seed, perhaps the 2nd seed, if they take this. So while the stakes are important for Gigantti, they're much bigger right now for Singularity.
Yeah, coming into this, I mean, Singularity, if they don't end up winning this series, if Gigantti take this next map, it's going to be basically Singularity's playoff dreams lie on the fact on how every other team performs in the bracket. So it's really going to be a tense scenario with this next map and how we do this one in Hanamura. But we will be heading into it any minute now as we jump into it. But, I mean, any predictions when it comes to compositions? Do you think that Gigantti will be running the traditional tank compositions here? Or do you think, again, they're going to be sticking with dive because they have been playing it throughout. They've been very effective with it. Do you think they're just going to stick with that? Or are we going to see some Reinhardt? Are we going to see some fatty shatties from Mr. Fraggy himself?
Well, I would love to see some fatty shatties, as you put it, because you did put it that way. But the flip side to that is that Gigantti really hasn't had much of a reason to swap things up. There's a case where you play what's working until the other team makes you change it up, unless you feel particularly strongly about a certain defense. And no, Gigantti, I don't believe you for a second in what you're showing us right now. Your name isn't Renegades.
They're whipping it out. They must have been listening to my cast about wanting to see this Trinity combo of Hanamura defenses. Either that, or it's just one big meme in the Overwatch Pro community because they were teasing us with the Torbjorn, the Orisa, and the Symmetra, but I don't think they're going to be running with that.
We suddenly just see Linkser get hit with the steel chair. It's like, by God, that's Megachu's music. He's walking in through that door.
What is up with the wrestling references? Where are you getting these from?
It's just that sort of day.
It's just you're just pulling them out the back of your mind. Some of these references that you come up with, I don't get them. I don't understand where you find them. But you have this Wikipedia-like knowledge of I love this. When I always do this, and now we're going to see them change. Or not. It might be the double fake, you know? Maybe they do want to run a Orisa Torbjorn.
You really want to hope it's a double fake. But
it might be.
Bren, we all took an oath here before you came to America, and you don't know this, but we want to educate you in various forms of meaningless U.S. pop culture. It was important.
I mean, it's not important to me in the slightest. Again, what am I going to do with this information? What did you say the other day about some purple monkey thing? I don't even know what that is.
Monkey dishwasher.
What
it is
that?
Simpsons commentary on the telephone game from the golden era of The Simpsons.
Nobody
and it is
watches
glorious.
The Simpsons.
Lies! Lies! All right, Singularity versus Gigantti. Singularity, their offense is underway, and they're not really breaking the mold here. They're just going with a dive setup. But Fisher, he's in a good position to get to high ground and land the damage if he can get through this archway.
They're going to be going for it, and again, this is an interesting approach. Fraggy actually ends up picking up the first kill onto Mr. Beck off the back of this. Smex very close to being desuited, has to pick up that mega health pack and back off the rest of his team for the time being. But Davin falling there to Poppy Fresh, that creates an opening now. Singularity, they get any more picks off the back, this could be good for them.
And now Gigantti, that's why they're being more aggressive. And oh no, a little bit too aggressive. You just hit the wall, Fraggy, as he is out of the fight immediately. And though this hasn't been quite how Singularity would have hoped it to have gone, because Poppy Fresh got that one-on-one kill on Davin, it's been more chaotic in perhaps an opportunity here for Singularity as the respawns come in.
And Singularity just waiting for the right time to strike for the time being, waiting quite patiently. Davin eating a ton of damage, forced to recall, backs his way out of there. But Big Goose, again, another boot onto Christopher. This is 2 on the same game. He got 1 onto Kellex earlier, and he's just finding these environmental kills off the back of it, setting his team up for the victory here. Singularity losing these 2 players. It's going to be hard if they try and retake this now.
Singularity, just slowly but surely, they've been getting ground out here by Gigantti. Any kill they get responded to by 2 from Gigantti. And that means now it's 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. A good chunk of time has been burned off. And Bren, what does that mean for Gigantti?
Who's on the point? I mean, you're asking me one question, but my mind's like, why is the point being contested?
What?
How has he gone so far? He's just being so flying. Big Goose has had 3 environmental kills this match alone, in this one match, in this one map.
I petitioned Big Goose to be renamed to Big Air because, my word.
They sending me were flying, but no.
And they told me Divas couldn't fly without the suit. They lied.
The question you were asking me, Gigantti, they're in such a solid position because they've got 6 ultimates online from winning these consecutive team fights. We've only 2 minutes left for Singularity. It means that they now are in the danger zone. Lynx are going to swift strike away, and now this is their forward aggression that maybe is going to be working against them because Singularity, they picked off Lynxer and they forced out these ults.
And now they have to use the barrier without Lynxer being in the fight. They don't have the barrier blade combo, and Poppy Fresh piles on. Singularity taking advantage of what Gigantti gave them there, where Gigantti got a little bit too aggressive, a little bit too big for their britches. And now Singularity with a good opportunity to just punch this one in and get started on point B.
Did you just say britches?
Britches, yes.
Britches, like as in the old-timey style British underwear?
Yes. Does this surprise you?
I'm shocked, to be honest. I don't know what's happening anymore. What's going on?
I'm from the UK, and you are a real American.
Put on your UK accent for me.
No. Absolutely not.
I'll do my American one if you do your UK one.
That would be a travesty that no one wants to listen to.
I could do a stunning American accent.
I don't believe you. But now Singularity moving in, trying to take the momentum that they have from taking point A and bring it into point B. The first step, get control of the high ground. Accomplished, but they lose Poppy Fresh. Now they don't have that flanking pressure, and Gigantti might just try and push him out.
I mean, that could have been a completely different scenario if Singularity just got that initial pick-off, but Gigantti are going to be holding on for now. The defense looking strong with that one pick onto Poppy Fresh. They're going to be forcing them to wait just a couple of seconds until they can regroup. But Gigantti now, Lynxer does have the Dragon Blade, whereas Singularity, they do not have anything to really counteract that other than, you know, just raw peeling from their team. And this could be big for them. Gigantti, if they get a good opportunity, Lynxer with his Dragon Blade, he could clutch it out.
Lynxer right now might be licking his chops with how much Singularity is adhering to the buddy system. They're really close, and now here comes the Blade.
Is he going to be finding any kills, though? I mean, Fisher's just trying to run himself away, but no, you can't run away from the Dragon Blade, lad. Gets back in there, and still he will fall in the midst of it. In this 1-for-1, Lynxer definitely just trying to get that last kill to Christopher, but it doesn't give him the satisfaction of it. Singularity now forced to regroup this one out. Lynxer, I mean, I'm getting confused here. He's just going on a little bit of a roundabout trek here of the enemy territory.
It is Lynxer's excellent adventure. He's a gift to esports, but he's also a traveler. A traveling Genji, as it were.
World traveler.
What? World traveler.
Genji, do you think Genji gets out traveling much?
I feel like he does. Even though you might not think it, and even though I don't think he can take off that bodysuit and just turn on a normal face, I think he does get around.
Yeah, I mean, he stopped moping about being half robot now, so, I mean, he's got that going for him. But look at this post bomb by Davin. Connects! Wonderful 2K off the back of that. And Gigantti, they're going to be happy with that one because, again, they've just secured this defense just off the back of that one play. And this is what we were talking about before, ZP. Davin, time and time again, the man just manages to clutch it out when they need it most.
And that was just over the top. I think one support kill would have been enough. He goes, no, actually,
no,
you get no heals. Just hold my pint.
This is terrible. Stop using his words. All right? You're not British.
Does this offend you that I am grabbing your sophisticated words that you think that us Americans can't use? But look at this. Singularity's coming in over the top. They have claimed the top, and they have every ultimate available. Surely this would be their window, but they lose Poppy Fresh immediately. That's a disaster.
And again, as soon as these little pickups happen, we see this so often with Hanamura as a map. When teams lose these initial players, when they're trying to get these pushes in, it just kills the push instantly. And it's raw seconds just being completely wiped off the clock here. Fraggy uses the Primal Rage. He's going deep, by the way. I don't know what the heck he's going for. Again, him and Lynxer have got something in common with that. They just like to go traveling into the enemy spawn, but he will regroup with the rest of his team. And Singularity, I mean, the upside is that they didn't use any ults, and they have 6 online now. So this should be their fight to win.
All right. I mean, part number one here is that when Poppy Fresh goes to the back line, don't get picked off. You've done this far too much in the series. Stay alive until the support ultimates come in. Don't be a hero, at least in the beginning. But now you have Gigantti. Lynx are wrapping around the back, and he is smelling the Dragon Blade right now. Wants to just pull it out at all those clumped up people. Will probably hit a Transcendence, but now he's on the way. Deflection forces the Transcendence out.
That's so smart. He doesn't risk using the Dragon Blade. In fact, he just waits and forces out the Transcendence, and look at that. Excellent ult usage coming out from Gigantti. Even though Fregi has fallen, the Transcendence will keep them alive for the time being, and now Lynxer can really wait out for this Dragon Blade to be popped off here. He might try and go for the backlines. Mr. Beck super weak here. Point still being played. Fisher using his tactical visor to full avail.
And Lynxer there was drawing the Winston back to some extent. He's trying to protect the supports, which he's doing right now. The tanks are keeping the supports alive. Now they drop the barrier, and Singularity, they commit. They deal with the Lynxer threat, and this is their time to move in. And so far, it's working out, but they're not decisively taking this here just yet. Gigantti is delaying, and the next wave of Gigantti players are on the way back in.
Now here we have it, Postmon available. He sticks it. Lynxer's down and out, ladies and gentlemen. Taken out of the fight. Smex follows it up with a kill onto Fragi, but the reset is called. And Bobby Fresh, he meets a bitter end. I mean, that all it took there was Bobby Fresh to get a 2K potentially with the pulse one. That could have been turned, but they choose to reset it, and they only get 36% off the back of it. So not a great trade-off. I mean, that was 6 ults UZP into that entire fight, and Gigantti is still sitting on top of an ult advantage.
They only came away with 1 tick, and by the way, Revenge of the Railing guy, he has been making those sturdy. He is upset that players keep breaking them open. But now Lynxer, Blade is up. Oh, this could be a bounty. Moves in, a double kill with 1 swipe. Beautiful stuff from Lynxer.
And he just does so much damage. His team happy to clean this one up here, ZP. The Shuriken will just find Bobby Fresh, and he's, look at this, Smex. Poor Smex. Smex, where you going?
Can they block her to
the edge
room?
is the other way, lads. There we go. Okay, Lynxer finally puts an end to him, but 8 seconds remaining here, ZP. It's getting down to the bitter end here for Singularity. This is their opportunity. They need to try and take this. They're speed boosting in. Is it going to be enough?
Well, they zoom Yada in. They throw their cards on the table, but I'm not sure how they're going to get kills here. Shaz holds the Transcendence, throws it out there to begin with, and Lynxer now picking up the scraps. Beautiful situation here for Gigantti, where just positioning edge, ultimate edge, and Singularity, all they can do is throw their bodies on the point and pray.
They've got a lot going for them right now, but Lynx are falling still, trying to trade this one out. Sound barrier by Gigantti. Again, just going to slam that on top, just try and bring down the follow-up players. I mean, Poppy Fresh and Smex, the last 2 remaining ones here. Poppy Fresh will recall away, but again, too little too late now. As you see the overtime, it burns down. Only 43% available here for Singularity. That's the only percentage they get here on point B of Hanamura. And Gigantti, they're going to be happy with that one because they do not have a particularly hard challenge ahead of them to try and win out this map.
No, this is a relatively easy win condition. It's only slightly more difficult than if Singularity didn't get any progress on point B at all.
Yeah.
And more importantly, it also means that there's no possibility of a draw here. So one way or another, we will come away with a clean victory for either team. It will be interesting to see what Gigantti runs here, but the reality is for Singularity is that not only do they have to buy time on point A, but they have to be ironclad here on point B because they just don't have a margin of error.
All right, I got a suggestion for Singularity. If they're listening to this, even though there's a 5-minute delay on the stream, I want them to run the Holy Trinity, right? I gotta pray. I'm crossing my fingers, ZP, that they're gonna be coming out with the Orisa, with the Torbjorn, with the Symmetra. I wanna see it. It's gonna succeed at some point. You know, Renegades, they've been testing the waters. They're showing us what the meta's about. You don't look impressed with me right now. You're looking very disappointed, but I guarantee you, right?
You know what I think? I think when you're managing a team and you go, we need a very good defense strategy here for Hanamura, let's take it from a team that's never successfully defended with it. That is our game plan. Yes.
They could do it. They could pull it off. I mean, maybe it's just Renegades being bad. I don't know. I think the composition itself, it's got potential. It's got something going for it, at least, surely. I mean,
I don't see the results.
It's almost succeeded a couple of times.
Wow, if almost could give you map wins, where would we be for some of these things?
The Singularity, they've got to really grasp the straws here. It's going to be difficult for them. They need to get a full hold, ideally, on this first checkpoint. Even if it goes to point B, Gigantti going to have a hell of a lot of time to work with. But Singularity, they want to stick with a traditional comp. Double hit, scan, dive. Gigantti going to be going for the Genji Tracer option instead.
All right, Gigantti moving out here, not really changing much of anything up. Double dive, backed up by 2 tanks and 2 supports. And we'll see what Lynxer and Davin do. Davin, of course, deadly in getting to the back. And Gigantti, they just a little bit poking here early on. They back up, heal up, but they lose Davin early, and that is rather big.
Okay, yeah, it is quite big indeed. So that means Gigantti forced to just reset for the time being. They do have a few players on the left-hand side of the point. That's going to force Singularity to try and dive on them. And this is actually a super intelligent play by Gigantti, but unfortunately it just backfires against them. They tried to bait Singularity into jumping onto the sidelines, and then Gigantti were going to follow it up with another attack onto the main front, but unfortunately, it just didn't quite work out for them. You saw Zappius immediately get desuited out of the way. Singularity just didn't really take the bait.
Not quite, and Gigantti, they have to go for a full reset, waiting for Zappius, who got staggered rather hard there towards the end, but they're at full health. They might build up a Transcendence mid-fight here, which of course would trade out, but now Gigantti, they're just gonna roll in, not even using their dives, but just slowly walking through and going to Singularity. Come at us.
Interesting how slow and patient the Gigantti are really taking this one here. Ooh, Poppy Fresh dangerously close there to falling. He's so weak. Oh my goodness, you do not shoot a reflecting Genji, my man. Still, Poppy Fresh desperately trying to stay alive. The Transcendence now going to be used here by Singularity. Will keep them alive for the time being, but answered back by Gigantti. And this is where the danger is, ZP, because the kills, they're going to start to flow in.
The kills are flowing as Linkser, 1 slice, 2 kills, once more. Really nice stuff from Linkser to open the way. And now for Gigantti, Linkser might have given up his life, but it was a worthy sacrifice. The blade did its job, and Gigantti now gets to set up the point being what? Specs?
Specs just getting, that's the stall. How many times has we seen this on Hanamura? It feels like Hanamura in particular. Out of all the maps, we just see the worst stall here.
If we could have a bar chart here of just instances of diva cruelty, Hanamura is absolutely just leading by 50%.
It's at the top.
We need this as a stat for the desk, where just divas with unceremonious deaths, Hanamura leading the way. But now, Gigantti not wasting time, trying to take the high ground, which is being heavily contested right now by Singularity.
And they're moving in. Pulse Bomb connects onto them, does bring them down, but Pulse Bomb will not find the kill. Soundbarrier instead going to be used by Singularity to try and keep them alive. Great play by Kelix there. Does stall this fight out for the time being. Another Pulse Bomb going to be committed, but again, nothing really gained from it. No casualties on either side. Both these teams playing patient, just trying to regain control of this high ground.
Clearly it's play fighting. No Winstons were harmed. Well, both Winstons were harmed. I take it back. Both out of the fight. So, 5-on-5 right now, but this is still fine for Singularity. If they trade out, that's some worthy defense here on Hanamura.
Singularity definitely trying to make it happen. The Self-Destruct comes out by Zappius, but again, no kill is going to be found. Meanwhile, Davin just trying to have a little battle there in the back lines with Fisher. This being evened out, but I think Gigantti are going to want to reset this one back.
Yeah, just a little bit of a row, no big deal. But Davin moving back right now, decides actually doesn't want to be the distraction back there. It's going to be a full reset for Gigantti, and actually next fight will be somewhat even across the board. Which is stronger here, Bren, the gun or the sword?
If Linkser ends up just taking the high ground position and nobody from Singularity can take care of him, it's going to be a problem, but I don't think that's going to be the case. They've got Singularity's Dragon Blade up. He can easily just focus him down here. Singularity now got to really pull out the stops. We're going to see what they can try and do. The high ground starts to be approached upon. Smex, post one built up by Davin as well. Looks like he wants to try and go for the supports. He's thinking about it. You can see he's getting a bit antsy about it.
He is indeed, as Davin right now, just a little bit of parkour here over the top, holding onto the Pulse Bomb. Your own friendly neighborhood Spider-Man as he finally leaps in, and Gigantti, 3 kills here, very clean. Dragon Blade utterly shut down. Lynx are having none of that as Gigantti, they're going to take it.
Yeah, a bit of an anticlimactic finish there towards the tail end of it, but incredible execution by Gigantti towards the tail end. I mean, I called the win condition really for Singularity there, was Fisher using the Dragon Blade to bring down Linkser early on. Just didn't quite happen, and speaking of Linkser, here he is, the man himself, played the game as well with the Genji. This is that double kill that he got, I believe, with the Dragon Blade. 1 slice, 2 kills off the back of that. Beautiful work, just slicing through the opposition. Now, that does mean that it's going to be Gigantti winning the series out away from Singularity. Now, this is an awful situation for Singularity, all right? I'm not going to beat around the bush here. It's pretty bad, but if they get a map win, things could be turned around potentially later down the line. This does mean now that they're not going to get the series win. They're in a bit of a sticky situation, but it's not over just yet for them.
No, it's not. What it does mean is that Singularity might not be the masters of their own destiny going forward. They might need a little bit of help to get into the playoffs, but under those scenarios, Bren, it does mean that map wins matter, so they're going to be coming in the map 4 with everything they have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, map 4, it's do or die, really, for Singularity at this point, because you want every advantage you've got coming into this one. If you can get a map win away from Gigantti, it's going to be excellent.
All right, well, that map 4 will be heading to you right after the break. And we're back with Overwatch Contenders Season 1 EU. Gigantti might have taken the series here, Bren, but as we were talking about before the break, Singularity, they still have a little bit to play for.
Yeah, they need this map win if they want a chance realistically coming into the playoffs. I mean, like you mentioned, you know, the destiny is sort of out of their hands at this point. It's going to be based on the other teams' performances to where they land in the playoff spot. Still an opportunity, still that, you know, there's potential there, and there's a reason for them to really try hard and get this map win under their belts, because without it, things could be looking a bit sticky later on down the line.
Tiebreakers do matter.
They do.
So we're heading in here. We'll be Watchpoint Gibraltar as the next map. And Bren, can we expect either of these teams to change anything up? Because so far today, it has been more the tried and true between these two teams. We haven't seen anything too nutty coming out.
No, I think Gigantti have just been flexing their muscles, really, haven't they, on the dive roll? Because again, I mean, still people just assume that they think back to the times of Ninjas in Pajamas when they weren't particularly comfortable with the dive composition. That's a thing of the past. Gigantti have proven time and time again that they are very much capable of taking the fight to teams that are quite capable in the dive composition roles. And as we see, they're going to be looking to probably come out with this. Gibraltar as a map is definitely one that only favors the dive compositions. I think any team that runs a Reinhardt in Gibraltar is probably mad, because it just doesn't work at all. The amount of high ground that you have in Gibraltar on every single stage means it's much more effective to run a dive compositions. And as you guys can see right here, right now, Gigantti on the defense going to be sticking with that sort of 2-2-2 composition. Shaz on the Ana going to be sitting back at the high ground.
Bren, I got to tell you, when Fraggy wakes up at night in a cold sweat, it's from a nightmare where he's just alone on Gibraltar, holding up a shield, wondering, where do I go?
what do I do here? I mean, you are literally as useless as a wet sponge. There's no doubt about it when you're playing Reinhardt on this map. So there's no chance in hell we're going to be seeing that happen. Singularity, they could open up with something interesting, you know, now that we're coming into this. They could open up with some strange compositions, but no, they want to stick with, again, the composition that they are most comfortable with coming into this one, which is going to be that 2-2-2 dive composition, running that Genji, running that Traitor as the offensive heroes.
Bren, I just want to say, wet sponges are very effective. That's how you wash your car or wash things with a sponge.
Would you win a map of Gibraltar with a wet sponge, though?
Probably a better chance of winning it with the Reinhardt sometimes. So there is a possibility. In any case.
I disagree.
All right.
I'm in disagreement, ZK.
I'm on Team Sponge. So,
I don't think this will work. I don't think this relationship's working out, you know.
All right. You know what? We'll have to have a row about it later. But now you have Singularity moving their way in. 4 on the payload, 3 or another 2 moving up the left side, and now they converge, pushing Gigantti back.
They're trying their hardest, but the car has moved past the car wash for the time being, and look at this, going to be a kill there onto Fraggy and Tavin as they fall. Singularity just taking a fight straight to them for the time being. The dive not really working out as effectively as Gigantti, I think we're quite hoping for. The D-Mech from Zappos will come out, and not really a single solid attempt to try and defend this one out. In fact, nobody's at the car Finally, it will be contested there by Linkser, but he's going to be met with a quick death in the end. Only 1.7 meters just remaining.
I think the engagement there really did throw Gigantti off guard, where Singularity had a few people split off to the left, come through the side door, and Gigantti just mechanically fell, but Big Goose trying his best to bring it back. The Bionade set that up. Kellix and Christopher weren't getting healed. And could they actually bring this back? It's almost at the point, but here comes the blade. Fisher with one blade. Linkser with another blade, though. Wait, he hasn't used it yet.
He hasn't even used it.
He's hiding in the back. He's just nano boosted, and he doesn't have to.
Look at this.
What?
They're stalling Smekes out again.
I don't think Poppy Fresh can believe it. I think Poppy Fresh... Oh, no.
What is this?
How does this keep happening?
This is so awful. He's got mech, though. Oh, that's so heartbreaking. How does this keep happening? It feels like this match in particular, this series, has seen more D.Va stalls than we've seen the entire tournament.
It's been a bad day to be a D.Va, at least if you want to have a dignified death, because those haven't been granted. You just get slept and just delayed forever. But now, Singularity working their way in. Mr. Beck under pressure, almost falls, but look at the patience. He doesn't use the Transcendence, although he also dies. So he rode the line a little bit too closely there, Bren.
Yeah, Linkser picking up that kill onto the supports. Pretty big stuff, because it means now Singularity can't afford to push this one in. They've got a minute 40 remaining on the clock. They still have not capped up this first checkpoint. Still moving back. And Christopher falling late as well. I mean, right now, Singularity, this is their time to fight. They've got 5 ultimates online. Fisher very close to his own Dragon Blade. Gigantti not looking too strong when it comes to the ultimate situation. But good team play, good proper team play means that Gigantti could clinch this one out. Singularity, realistically, though, should be winning it.
Singularity, they just feel off base since that hold. It feels like they've just been getting staggered repeatedly and sort of in disbelief that they're in the situation. Pulse bomb from Poppy Fresh doesn't connect. Fraggy out of the danger zone, moves to the front line and actually finds Mr. Beck. A nice rotation there from Fraggy already puts Gigantti on the better end.
Oh, still 2 kills traded out, and that's going to commit the sound barrier. Singularity, they want to fight full throttle coming into this engagement now. We see the sound barrier, the self-destruct is going to be used here by Zappis. He gets back into the mech successfully, but immediately going to be deseated once again. Gigantti just holding on for the time being. Pulse bomb sent out. Will it get anything? Not quite. It's time for the stall, as we see Fraggy just going to be moving in, falling quite weak, backing off, and now a lot of ults being committed on either side to try and win this one out.
Singularity, they're emptying the war chest right now. Everything available. Fisher, few slices. There you go. 2 kills for Fisher. And will that be enough? It will. The door mercifully opening now for Singularity.
Good stall by Gigantti, though, nonetheless. I mean, to really hold that one off, because Singularity were working off 5 ultimates in that last fight. Gigantti made them use a whole bunch of them to try and secure that last initial checkpoint. So definitely not a bad trade for them. You know, you can let it move through here. Now, Gigantti will look to sort of re-engage, reset as well with his defense. Poppy Fresh just messed his jump up a little bit to a degree there, but it's okay, though. They're going to be retaking control here of this top hanger. Nice pulse bomb. Does get the D-suit, the D-mech there into Zappis. It's pretty crucial.
All right, Poppy Fresh still fighting here on top of the hangar. Baby D.Va versus Tracer. Poppy Fresh's pride on the line here, and he maintains his pride. That's important. And almost gets Linkser to boot.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be searching for this one right now. Still, he's just causing an absolute havoc for the enemy team here. Linkser finally going to be falling. Fisher, though, dives into the backlines. Will get brought down by Fraggy, so it's looking like a successful defense for the time being. Christopher looking to extend this one out. Pops off the Primal Rage. Not sure if I agree with that one.
Well, he did get Chaz right before. That's why he was in as long as he was. It's trying to get a setup here where you have more momentum coming back in, but it's risky, right? Where they've already lost Mr. Beck. He tried to support Christopher, who is too far deep, and now Gigantti on the verge of reestablishing here, as long as Fraggy can get out of here with his life.
He's got a defense matrix there, so Zappis is going to be protecting him for the time being. Look at Davin. Davin, pulse bomb in hand. This man, he wants to go for some big plays. I can feel it. I can feel it in the water, ZP. He wants to go for these pulse bombs. He's waiting for the opportunity. He sees the targets. Is he going to be going for it? No, creeping, crawling, just crouching around the corner. Will he find it? Surely, damn it, please. No. He does get the kill on Mr. Beck with the help of Fraggy.
I was expecting an explosion. I wanted an explosion.
I was really bigging up that explosion, and he just let me down tremendously.
You were hyping that up so much. It was like, all right, I'm into this. I'm invested. And then he just casually rolls in and doesn't have to use pulse bomb. Main thing here for Gigantti, though, Singularity did not engage all at the same time. They were distracted by Davin. They got broken back and forth. And even with Poppy Fresh creating a little bit of chaos, it's not enough. Gigantti is holding strong, and we're down to our final 40 seconds. However, Singularity does have a support ultimate advantage. They need to be sure that no one gets picked off early, Bren, and they need to chain these in an effective way that doesn't waste either one of them.
Yeah, 30 seconds remaining. Singularity, they can't afford to let one of their supports get picked off. Damon with his pulse bomb. The Transcendence is used super early by Singularity. They don't want to waste any time here. Self-destruct as well by Zappis. Actually going to be forcing it out now. Pulse bomb now going to be committed into the back, but doesn't actually do anything against Singularity because the sound barrier is going to be negating a lot of this now. Still moving around. Dragon Blade, Linksa looking to do the business. Already gets one kill off the back of it. The reflex Zappis will clean up the second.
And the problem there for Singularity is that they use the Transcendence really early there before they could actually convert that Transcendence into quick kills on Gigantti. So in the end, it was more an ult for an ult with one wasted Transcendence, and that's not good enough to get through Hangar Phase, especially not when Poppy Fresh gets picked off early because he's too far out and isn't able to take the engagement with Linkser.
Yeah, I mean, so far what we've seen of the entirety of Gigantti is that they do seem a lot more efficient when it comes to their ult usage, the rotation of it, the forcing them out. Even when Singularity are sitting up with these ultimate advantages you saw in that previous team fight, it still doesn't work in their favor, you know. It's a bit of a misplay here and there, but other than that, Gigantti definitely showing that they deserve to be one of the top seeded teams here in EU. Definitely want to be contesting with this, and now we're seeing them on the attack. They're going to switch things up. Singularity are on the defense. And again, it's Gibraltar. No surprises with the compositions. Probably going to be seeing something, again, extremely similar from both these teams.
I wouldn't expect either of these teams to really change up too much, given what we've seen so far, where of all the we've only seen one other match today, but the previous match saw a lot more variety than what we're seeing here, where both of these teams have been content to be running variations of the dive comp that we've seen for so long in Overwatch now.
Yeah. It's definitely not straying too far from the metagame as it stands. Right now, even though Doomfist has been introduced, you know, people who were going on, they were raving on about how it's going to be the return of Reinhardt. We have seen that to a degree on certain maps, and of course the changes to Zarya definitely help as well. The Graviton Surge obviously now being able to suck in a lot more victims, and they can't actually escape from it, but for the time being, we're going to see, again, dive composition is Gibraltar is what you kind of expect coming from this, and composition-wise from Singularity on the defense, going to be going with that 2-2-2 dive. Again, Fisher on the Genji, Poppy Fresh on the Tracer, but realistically now, ZP, the question remains is how are they going to be able to defend this one out from the side of Gigantti when they've been looking so strong throughout this entire tournament?
Really, you take a look at what they're running here in the defense, they're not running something that really lends itself to a strong first-point hold, so it's hard to say. I mean, dive defenses like these, they can draw a lot of time off the clock, but it's rare to see them get a full hold or something way above the norm. So for Singularity, they would just have to mechanically play out of their minds here. And for Gigantti, I feel like they would have to misplay. They would need to really misuse key ultimates, throw them away, and create these time differences that maybe could lead to Singularity holding.
Well, we're going to see the new and improved Widowmaker. Lynx are going to be just showing what he's really made of here on this role. Looking for the heads. Again, remember, new and improved grappling hook. He's going to be putting in the damage. Nice reflex comes out there from Fisher, but doesn't actually get the kill there onto Linksa like he was hoping for. Still just playing it patiently. I think the mere presence of a Widowmaker is really the danger here for Singularity, because they can't really afford to peek too many angles. You can see Linksa is playing it super passively, super patiently. In fact, look at that, triggering the mine up above, which means there's that new change being put in as well. It's going to give him wall hacks in around the area for a certain amount of time.
And for Gigantti, they've just been holding back here, and we'll see what they do to actually move this in, where they've been more than content to just give Linkser time to look for the early pickoffs, and now, of course, you see Linkser the Widow. It's his first rodeo on this Widowmaker, and overall, keeping the pressure on, slow but surely, they're moving through the car wash.
I really like that play by Gigantti. It wasn't flashy in particular, it was very slow, very methodical, but that's exactly what they needed, because I think they suspected that Singularity were going to go for an aggressive forward hold. So Linksa was just definitely playing the angles, and now that they have secured and got the car up to a decent degree, a decent distance, now you can see Linksa, he's set himself up nicely in the server room now for the pot shots, and now he can just begin to really just apply the pressure.
All right, Linksa right now holding in the back. The Widow Mine is triggered. And for Gigantti, they're saying to Singularity, you need to move into us, and that's what they do. The Transcendence is out, and now they're going to move to the server room. They want to remove this point of positioning here for Gigantti, but Gigantti, they counter with the Transcendence of their own, and it's working out much better for them. And now they can even drop the barrier, which they do. That's going to make this blade really difficult for Fisher.
Putting a lot of emphasis into this, but Smex does bring down Shaz with his own self-destruct. Linksa, though, follows it up, headshot onto Fisher, bringing him down without a sweat, and following up as well. No pressure coming onto this Widowmaker player now into the backlines means that it is pretty much just an inevitability now for Gigantti to really claim out this first checkpoint as they just follow up the kills. Fraggy using a Primal Rage just to stall this one out.
The stall is in, and Davin right now just more than willing to move around and get the cleanup required. And no Singularity, they're trying to stall it out. This isn't something where, oh, we're going to stall because we can turn this. It was trying to stall to buy time because they do need time.
Yeah.
4 minutes left for Gigantti and not a long way to go. And look at the sightline for Linkser. He can actually stay on this Widow for the rest of the round if he wants to.
Yeah, he's going to be perfectly happy to do that. The Widow Mine will alert them to whenever someone tries to go through that right-hand side. Now you can just, again, set himself up in position. Headshot connects, brings Christopher down to about half HP. And, I mean, it's so dangerous. Look at this sightline. If he picks up a kill here, I don't know what to say. But no, Singularity realize they have to move as a squad using the defense matrix, and Linkser does back off for the time being.
Linkser are going to back up just a bit. Fisher in hot pursuit. They want to deal with this Widow threat, but there's the rest of Gigantti, they're forcing the issue on the payload, so that's going to give Linkser more room. The recon site about to be up. Davin darting in and around, but Fraggy being down, that hurts quite a bit. With the Widow, they don't have as much of a presence on the point to begin with. So down at Winston, that's going to let Singularity just bully them on the payload.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to desperately try and hold on for it for the time being. They have 2 defensive support ults. Gigantti, the win condition now coming in for them, is seeing if they can force out these support ults for basically nothing. That's really the ask for them for the time being. Zap is still holding onto his self-destruct, just wants to wait for it until he gets desuited to really apply a bit of pressure, but now moves into the back. Self-destruct sent straight up into the air, and that will use the Transcendence for the time being, and forcing out a few more ults from the side of Singularity.
And that forced Singularity to split and not go in with their Transcendence as heavily as they wanted. Now they have to use the barrier to match the Singularity of Gigantti. Lynx are already out of this fight, but Gigantti, they double down. The barrier is in, they are fully invested, and now let's see what Davin can do. Moving to the back, 1 crucial kill. Can he get more? He's just cutting through these tanks.
Yeah, and then the Dragon Blade comes out by Fisher, but he is brought down before he can really unsheath it. Once again, Gigantti just rolling this one forward with a humongous player advantage right now. The cart still being contested right now, but Davin will put an end to that as the cart moves forward. That will be that, ladies and gentlemen. Most likely, I think I'm calling it a bit too soon because Christopher still into the fight. Now Fisher, he does get that Dragon Blade back, but not going to be getting the maximum value that he's looking for. Christopher now, Promo Rage used right now to try and stall this one out. Self-destruct by Zappis will keep them off the cart, just catching themselves just behind it.
Fisher getting nothing but air on that final Dragon Blade, and if they're trying to buy time, they can't buy anymore. The credit account, it's overdrawn as Gigantti able to finish it out 4-0. Singularity, they're not going to be getting a map to add to their total for a tiebreaker situation.
Funnily enough, look at this. Linkser again with the play of the game, but you're absolutely right, ZP. No map's going to be here for the side of Singularity to try and win out this tiebreaker. I mean, this is a cutesy little play, you know. You saw a variety of plays coming out from both these teams, Gigantti and Singularity, but definitely a match that, I mean, even though it was a 4-0, you know, a bit of 4 Overwatch, it wasn't as one-sided as one might think from the earlier maps. It's just Singularity really, I think they dropped the ball towards the tail end of things.
Singularity, it felt like the times where they were doing well, though, came because Gigantti was making a key error here or there.
Yeah.
Throughout the total course of the series, even though Singularity had their moments, it never really felt like Gigantti was at risk of losing control for the most part. They usually had some key winning condition that would have been difficult for them to let go of.
All right, well, I mean, with that being said, I'm definitely going to be curious now to see what the boys on the desk have to say about that game.